Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful morning outside. It's cloudy. It's a little nippy. It's going to rain. Probably going to rain a lot. But what can I do about it? It's out of my control. It's out of my influence. I tried to talk to Mother Nature when she wouldn't listen to me. I don't know what to say about that. I thought ladies normally like listening to me, but I guess Mother Nature is just a little more masculine than I can handle. So, lots of news out there, lots of noise out there, lots of lies out there. Oh my goodness. If you ever want a good laugh, please go to Democracy Occupy oh hell. What is it? Occupy Democracy. Occupy Democrat. There it is. Go to Occupy Democrat and read some of those memes on there. I find it interesting that people who lack knowledge and who lack the ability to communicate that knowledge often resort to memes with misinformation, bold lies, funny shit, I'm telling you. It is so funny. But I digress. Of course, in the wake of what happened yesterday, they're now calling for gun control. The assault rifle is the target because that is the weapon that this individual used. And it was also the same kind of weapon that the other individual who stopped this individual used. Just pointing that out. One of the things I think is kind of funny, the AR-15, everybody keeps talking about assault rifles, assault rifles, assault rifles. That whole term is wrong, but I digress again. AR-15. AR doesn't stand for assault rifle. There. However, I did do a little bit of research, and I looked up the Pew Research Center in a study that was done June 22nd of this year, showed that 30% of all Americans owned weapons. That's not a whole lot, is it? Well-regulated militia. Well, 30% of the country owns weapons. That seems to be a militia to me, but I digress again. 69% of Americans do not own any weapons. 69%. So when something like this happens, of course you're going to hear all this butt-ass crying from the non-gun owners saying, we need gun control. Dudes, leave me and my guns alone and deal with your problem in Chicago, where the most strict gun laws in the country are in force, and yet thousands of people are shot every year. Indeed, it appears that more men than women own guns. However, women do own guns, and they're pretty good shots too. I actually got to teach Mother how to shoot a gun out in Las Vegas, and she was pretty accurate. It's probably I've actually found an area where I might say white privilege. It appears that more whites than any other nationality own weapons. And that directly comes back, or goes to their exposure to weapons, hunting, and that kind of thing, target practicing and all that stuff, which more white males apparently seem to be in than anybody else. So, yay! Now we found some white privilege. Unfortunately, the inner cities, they don't really have a whole lot of guns at all, as far as statistically, people who will say. These are legal gun owners, by the way. Legal gun owners, not illegal gun owners. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee again for you whiny bitches out there. I have to keep my mouth wet because if I don't, then I start sounding real hoarse and gruff like I did on that last video. And I don't really particularly care for all that. So getting back to this Pew research, and I'll go ahead and put the link in the video underneath here so y'all can look it up for yourselves. In rural area, 47% of rural occupants own weapons. 47% of people who live in rural areas legally own weapons. That's kind of interesting. 30% of Americans own weapons. Half of those are in rural areas. Keep that in mind. 28% of legal gun ownership is in the suburb areas. I don't know exactly what a suburb is. That was another term that was snuck in under me. Nobody asked me about. I know city, country. Other than that, I don't know what all these other terms are. Suburb, 28%. Where urban, actually in the city, only 19% of legal gun owners are in the cities. So, here again, in your cities, you're going to have a lot more gun control, right? And gun control does nothing but squander the legal gun owners' right away. The people in cities, of course, get killed a lot more than in the country with guns because they have such strong gun controls. So an argument can be made from all this information, but right now I'm not really putting all that stuff together. And it does appear that Republicans and Republican-leaning independents own guns, are twice as likely to own guns than Democrats and Democrat-leading independents. Twice as likely to own guns. So when shit like this goes down, that's why they start saying, you know, you fucking Republicans are doing this to yourself, or you're responsible for this, or whatever. Crying and yelling and making shit up and not thinking about what you're doing, and basically just opening up your pie hole and sharing the shit that's in your head is not helping anybody. I just wanted to point that out. Why are we having these problems in the country today? And I believe lack of accountability would be one reason. And that accountability comes from where? Where did you learn to be accountable? Or are you accountable? Oh, of course you'll tell me you're accountable. But you see, I don't sleep with you. I don't wake up with you, and I definitely don't look at you in the mirror. Because all this gorgeousness is enough to look at in the mirror. Without any more. So, I forgot what I was talking about. I got on my gorgeousness and oh hell, now my brain is gone. No, accountability. Yeah. Are you accountable? Are you accountable to yourself? Are you accountable to your family? Are you accountable to your work, your passion, your dream, your nightmare? What are you accountable for? How are you accountable? And when you take responsibility for something, what does that mean? Please tell me that means more than just lip service. That makes a little more sense than the crying that I'm reading on the internet, but still. Facebook appears to be a place inhabited by trolls and immature people who lack the ability to communicate rationally and explain their thought. If you'll go on this Occupied Democrat site, you'll actually probably find my name on a couple of these things where I just simply ask them a straight up question, or I say, okay, explain to me, give me your evidence, cite your evidence for what this meme is stating. You ready? Go! Nobody has answered me yet. That's frustrating for me because people want to spread noise, lies, rumors, bullshit, all the garbage that's inside of them because of the perception they have in life. They want to share that with the world. Okay, well, part of your responsibility and accountability as a human being, a decent human being, is if you're going to share your noise on with the world, then explain to the world why. And honest to God, if you can explain to me why whatever we're talking about is the way it is, I would probably change my perception. That's the way shit works. You were not born yesterday with all of this hate and animosity. The hate and animosity was learned. It was learned through your family and environmental circumstances. It was learned through your personal choices. Your personal choices, not mine. I have no accountability for yours actions. You do. Okay, so there it goes again, right out the goddamn window. I absolutely love being me. It is so awesome. I go into the kitchen, and it seems like every day I'm like a child at Christmas time. I find something new that I never knew we had, or whatever, and Mother will tell me, "Well, honey, I just bought that," or "Darling, we've had that for a while." I'm like, "Well, I forgot it was here, and this is awesome." Because if I would have remembered it was there, I was going to eat it before. But it's kind of fun being me because it's like my head phases through, you know. And so it takes me a lot to try to put these little vlogs together. A lot of note taking on different stuff. I come up with different ideas, and I'll walk out of the room and totally forgot about what I was working on, and so I'll start piddling with something else. But I was talking about personal accountability. If you want to be personally accountable, stop blaming your perceived problem on your perceived villain. Like the NRA, the terrorist group, the NRA, because they support the Second Amendment right. Well, if it wasn't for the NRA, we probably wouldn't have a Second Amendment right anymore. This would be good with you, I'm sure, but please do a little research on countries that were disarmed and how their lives are now. If they're good and peachy, fine. Move your ass over there and leave me the fuck alone. But I bet you'll find that it is not so peachy anymore because people can't do what they needed to do. You see, here's the bottom line for owning a gun. Bottom line, no bullshit. It is a tool for you to handle your business, take care of your family, hunt, feed your family, kill, protect your family. Okay? For every legal gun owner that owns the 256 million guns in America. What? 256 million? Yeah. If guns were the problem and legal gun owners were the problem, you'd fucking know about it. 256 million guns. And y'all are bitching and belly aching over everything with, oh, don't get off on that tangent. Personal accountability starts with you. Your perception. If you see the world through rose-colored stained glass windows, then things look peachy or whatever. You're probably part of the 69%. But if you're the part of the 30% that does maintain weapons in the United States, then you're part of the 30% that can feed their family if and when the economy hits the fucking fan. Everything collapses. Suddenly there's no food in the grocery store. Your credit card doesn't work. The ATMs don't work. I mean, the fast food restaurants are closed. So how are you going to feed your family? I got guns. I can go out and hunt. Go kill me some rabbit. Maybe some dog. Or a cat. Whatever it takes to feed my family. Now we're talking, apocalyptic kind of shit, obviously. Okay, so the shit hits the fan, the world's gone to hell. Now suddenly, all the predators come out of the woodwork because they have families to feed, or at least themselves. And, they got to do what they got to do. And unfortunately, most uneducated, challenged people, mentally challenged people, and I'm talking educationally challenged people. There we go. Educationally challenged people. Most of them, what are they going to do? They're going to lack respect. They lack respect anyway for people and their things, so they're going to go bust into people's homes. Going to go steal, loot, rape, do whatever the hell they want to. Oh, is this is a taboo subject, I'm pretty sure. And if you're still listening to me, congratulations. But I'm sorry, that's the way man is. Men are animals. The human race is an animal just like any other animal on this planet. Only our minds, through civilization, a civilized mind, do we live together and coordinate with each other, okay? But that doesn't seem to work so well anymore. The whole world seems to be burning down a little bit at a time. Still, if you don't hold yourself accountable, how can you hold anybody else accountable? Oh, I don't own any guns, so you shouldn't own any guns. Or I don't own any guns because guns are bad, and so you shouldn't own any guns. Have you ever shot frog in a pond? I was in Kansas, and this lady that I was living with, or staying on her property with rather, had a pond out behind the place I was at. And there was absolutely back in them days, there was fucking shit to do, okay? You farmed or whatever you did, and that was pretty much fucking it. There was no internet, cell phones, all that other bullshit to keep you occupied and entertained with the head. You actually had to do something. So I took my 1022 and I went out and I murdered a whole bunch of fucking frogs. And I thought it was fun. It was target practice. I was killing creatures, but it was target practice. I was walking around the pond shooting these frogs. These helpless frogs didn't have a fucking prayer. We trust in a society that, for the most part, people are going to leave us alone to do our thing. To worship as we want to love as we want to be with whom we want to, whatever. Okay? But it's gone again. Well, well, well. It's fun being me, folks. Leave your comments if I made any fucking sense. If I remember what I was saying, I may do this video over again. This is 7, and those are my fucked up thoughts.